Hey guys, this is Wyatt with Triad Dirtworks. We're here today. I want to show you a video of some work that we've already done. This is some work that we did last fall, and I kind of want to highlight and make points on this video before it even starts. This is going to be about why everybody in our area wants to hit that fall seeding window and why it's so crucial in our area. And guys, we kind of live in a kind of a funny area when it comes to grass. You can go 100 miles south of us, and the hot weather grass thrives, and you can go 100 miles north, and kind of the cool grass thrives as well. And Dad is definitely more of an expert when it comes to grass. I'm going to do my best to try to explain it. But anyways, while we have a lot of clients that pretty much get on a waiting list all year round to hit about a 2.5 month window when it comes to seeding. We live in the Triad area of North Carolina. Our home base is in Greensboro. So this is kind of the geographic area that I'm going to be talking about. In a lot of different cases, it's going to be different. This varies on where you live in the different parts of the country and the world. So what I'm saying here might not apply to you, but this is going to be explaining what we do in our area and definitely what works. So first thing I want to start off with the seeding window that we like to call. It's about 2.5 months long, and typically we start about the third week in September and run it all the way up to about the first week before Thanksgiving, so all the way into November. So we got a pretty tight window to hit, and what that allows the grass to do, the ground temperature, it's been hot. Temperatures are in the 80s and the 90s in North Carolina all through the summer, all through September. So what is happening? The ground temperature is on the fall at that point, at the round of end of September. So we're trying to get the seed in the ground before the ground temperature gets too cold and too hot. So it's kind of a different little deal there, and you're trying to hit the mark. But anyways, that's kind of the premise of it. We're trying to get the seed in the ground at the right time where the ground temperature's starting to cool down, not be so hot, so that tall fescue can thrive and get on up, and they'll have a good stance of grass. But anyways, that's enough talking for right now. I'm going to show two clips of some jobs that we did in the fall, and I'm just now getting around to doing the follow-up with it. But these yards turned out great. I do want to mention that they both have irrigation, so that makes a world of difference. So they both get water pretty often. And so there's a lot of stuff that goes in the grass, but what we do, it works. It has worked. We do the same process for every yard that we do, and I will go into some detail later in the video on that. But anyways, guys, hang tight. Watch these couple clips of this videos on these yards, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, this is the first stop. This is a project that we did back in the fall, like I mentioned before, and I will link a video of this project in the description of this video. That way you can see the before, the process during the work, and you can watch this video as a reference as the end of the work. And this grass came up really nice. We sowed, I think it was a 5 blend fescue here, kind of a hybrid seed that we like to use, and nothing fancy, just a nice premium tall fescue seed. And this is the byproduct of that. Turned out really nice. We did a lot of work here, did the demo around the front, and then we had dirt that we had to spread here that the homeowner had brought in and delivered, and it turned out really nice. Leveled this yard out and then sowed it all back. And surprising, we usually put wheat straw on our grass as a cover to protect the seed, but on this particular yard, and if you watch the previous video, you'll see we did not throw straw on this. We just put the seed down and rolled it in. So all this came up with no straw covering, which is great, and it gets the weed contamination down. So this one turned out really good, and we'll move into the next clip here. Should be starting in just a second. Alright, we're on this clip. I will link this video down below as well, and you can see here, same deal. This yard had a little bit more rye blend than what we like to see. You can see the big, tall, skinny blades of grass. That's the rye. But in the summertime, it will pretty much get killed off by the sun because it can't withstand a lot of heat and sunlight. in sunlight. It's just mainly the ryegrass is a kind of a winter grass, but that's not what we were going for on this one. We wanted a little bit more fescue and not a lot of rye. But anyways, this one turned out great too. Got a lot of transformation on this yard. We took that wood line and extended it out, and you'll see in the previous video what we did on that. But it was a big area that we covered, and this is back when it was just me and Dad. We didn't have no hands, and we did this all just me and him. Worked out great. Came up beautiful. This yard's irrigated as well, and so it gets a lot of help with the water situation. But just because you might not have a fancy irrigation system doesn't mean that you can't have a good stance of grass. It just takes a little bit more work. It's not as most automated as the irrigation system, but you can still have a really good yard, really good stance of grass without the irrigation system. So the fescue grass came up really nice, nice and green. You can kind of see the existing yard over to the right where Dad's standing right there, and then see to the left of where he's standing what we did. Pretty notable difference, but it'll all blend in, and especially this client has a spray program, I do believe, and they use that quite often. They're on like a reoccurring deal, so they get a lot of treatment to their yard. They keep it well maintained, well maintenanced throughout the year, so it's always a good thing when you got that going on as well. But that doesn't mean that you have to pay a professional to do all that. You can do it yourself. It just takes a little bit more time. But guys, these are two video clips of what we did in the fall. These yards came up great. If you like to see these videos, I don't mind doing them. I love going back and following up on work that we've already done. It puts things in perspective and lets people see the before, the during, and the after. I love doing these types of videos. And if you'd like to see more of this kind, then comment down below. I'm going to kind of go through the process in this next little bit on how we achieve this good quality grass that comes up for us every single year. And it's tried true method. We don't deviate the process at all. So I'm going to explain kind of the basic premise of what we do. So of course we got our skid steers on the job. Dad uses the Triad. That's mainly our grading machine. It's small, compact, nimble. I've done videos about the Triad and what it can do, and what Dad can make it do. I like to say that he can make that thing talk, because he does. He's really good on it, and the success that we have with all of our grading projects and our seeding, it really does showcase that. So let's start off with our process, and I've got a time-lapse video on the back. It was in the front of the project as well, and this is just a generic project that we've got that's going to showcase some of the process that we do, and I won't show all the process, but I'll try to fill in where I can. So we like to start off when we go into a yard. First thing, you want to grade it. You want to get it to the grade that you want it. If there's any drainage, you want to address that in the front end. You want to move your dirt around, level off, cut here, add here, kind of that deal. Grading, I'm kind of down talking it a little bit like it's an easy process. It's definitely not. It takes a lot of skill, a lot of knowledge, a lot of know-how to grade and level out a yard efficiently with a skid steer, but neither here or there. So after you grade the yard and you get everything leveled out to your desired specifications, I come in before Dad and I've got a ripping tool, which is essentially just 3 teeth on a little rake on the Ditch Witch 800 that we've got, and it just gets in the ground and it rips all the ground up, rips the roots up to the ground and get those out, and just does a really good job before the Harley rake process. And it just acts like a plow. It just gets all that ground broken up and loose. The next process is taking the Harley rake, and the Harley rake, I've touched on it, and what it does is attachment for the front of the skid steer, and it's got a drum with teeth on it that just churns and burns the ground and gets it all nice and fluffed up and broken up. And it really does a good job, and a lot of people stop at this point and directly seed, and it's close. I'm not going to lie, it is very tempting and close just to throw your seed on this, but we take it a step further to achieve the premium sowing capacity that we do. We always 100% hand rake our yards, 100%. I don't care how big it is, we always hand rake it. That's kind of a dying deal right there. And not the raking process, but people stop at the Harley rake process and they go directly to seeding, and there's nothing wrong with that. You'll probably gain the same results, but we like to take it a step further and really put the finishing touch on with the hand rake, and that just levels out all the spots. It gets all the clots, it gets all the small roots up and all that good stuff. So we always hand rake. And then the process after that is, of course, throwing your seed down. We load our hopper up with the seed, and we push the seeder around, and we make multiple passes. We don't really get into the whole 50-pound bag covers X amount of square feet. We kind of do it by feel and by sight, and we make sure that we get a really good covering of seed. If we can walk through the yard and barely look down and see abundance of seed, that's kind of what we're after. We like to throw the seed to it. That way it's got a maximum chance of getting on up and being really plush and green and all that good stuff. After the seed, we put the fertilizer down, and then which the fertilizer we use, I think it's 18-24-12, I believe. If I don't have the numbers mixed up, that's what we use. I think it's an all-purpose fertilizer. They got different brands, but we're not really sold on any of them, just whatever we can get our hands on, and we do that. The next process that we like to do, which is also kind of a dying art, is we take that poly roller, which I've explained what that does. You fill it up with water. It weighs about 250-275 pounds when it's full, and what that does, it gets the seed pushed down into the ground to help with the germination process. And it really does help. It makes a notable difference. So we take another step further than just throwing the seed down. We always roll in our yards, and it always makes for the best results. So anyways, guys, I know this has been a lot of talking, a lot of information in this video, and this is more so just a brief overview about how we can gain and achieve the good quality grass that we sow. We're not turf experts by no means. We don't get into it and dive into it like a lot of different landscapers and stuff, but that has been around in the horticulture and in the landscaping field for over 40 years now. So he's been around the block a few times, and the same process that we're using now he's used on all of his yards, and it has worked. Over the course of 40 years we've had really great success, and a lot of it hinges around that 2.5 month period that we call the seeding window that everybody wants to jump into. So anyways, guys, I know this is a lot of talking. Thanks for hanging in there if you made it this far. This is Wyatt with Triad Dirtworks. If you liked the video, please comment down below. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon, and like the video if you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.